Many people may not be aware of Philip J. Corso. However, if you're someone who's interested in mysteries, you may be aware of who Philip Corso is, and the message that he was trying to spread. He published a book in 1997 with William J. Birnes, who some may remember from the TV show UFO Hunters. The book shares accounts of what happened in Roswell in 1947. If anyone should have written a book on this topic, it was Philip Corso. After all, he had spent 21 years in the military and had a lot of background knowledge of the event that took place. Philip goes into detail about how he was one of the people who was in charge of the department that studied the crash site back in 1947. He says that it's no coincidence that after the crash site was discovered and the evidence was taken to a secure location, advanced technological discoveries soon started to be made, some of which he says include the circuit chip, optical fibers, night vision goggles, and various other discoveries that would help mankind. He says that these discoveries directly correlate between the event that happened, and said that it's helped humanity jump forward various years. He would continue to talk and release what he knew about the event, saying that he was able to get up close and personal with some of this tech, and that he was even in charge of sharing this with top US corporations. Philip may sound like someone who had an overactive imagination, but the truth is he lives up to his credentials. He was an officer of National Security Council under President Dwight Eisenhower, and when journalists tried to debunk what he was saying in terms of his career, a Freedom of Information Act request backed up that he was telling the truth. Many believers though said that some of these claims were outlandish, and that instead of helping the community, all it was doing was damaging it. The story would soon get darker when it was announced that shortly after releasing the book, he passed away due to an unexpected heart attack. This sudden passing caused some in the community to suggest that something else was at play, and that he was being warned not to talk about this topic. It wasn't long before many believers said that he was silenced. When the book was first released, it was applauded by many in the community, saying that he was brave for coming out and sharing what he knew about the events. Some though just couldn't get on board with some of the things that he was saying. After Freedom of Information Act requests were submitted, many of the records show how important Philip Corso was, showing that he had a large file and record that would back up some of the impressive things that he'd done during his career. He was involved and contributed to the prisoner of war and missing in action proceedings, along with having a lengthy career in military intelligence. It's for this reason that many have asked the same question: why would a man with such an impressive record lie about what he'd seen and experienced? His impressive military record would have been tainted with these bizarre claims, and he probably knew that, yet he kept pursuing this path and tried to reveal the truth to the general public. It's for this reason that some believe that he was telling the truth, and this whole time he just wanted to share what he knew to the masses. Many critics have since come forward and said he lied about working under the Eisenhower administration. However, Freedom of Information Act documents reveal that he was in fact employed via the Army intelligence, and was labelled National Security Council staff, Eisenhower administration. Philip said the following to the House Subcommittee on Military Personnel back in 1996, shortly before releasing his book. Upon my return to the United States, I was assigned the Operations Coordinating Board OCB of the White House, National Security Council, and handled virtually all projects to US prisoners of war. It's also reported that Philip Corso had been tested and showed no signs of any illnesses and didn't suffer from anything during his time in the military. In his book, he goes on to detail that when the military personnel arrived at the scene, small bodies were discovered in the wreck, further saying that this, along with the machine itself, was recovered by US officials. According to Philip Corso, and which was backed up by others who were on the scene that day, grey humanoids were found close by, but Corso revealed that they weren't real extraterrestrials, but rather machines that were created to work on other planets. What's interesting about this claim is that it matches up with what many abductees have said. During their experience, many abductees noticed that the beings that had taken them on board came across as robotic, noting that they lacked any sort of emotion. Could this be then that the grey humanoids are not aliens but rather robots? Philip Corso goes on to mention this, and says that those that have been taken up into advanced aircrafts will have experienced these beings, and that they're not what they look like, but are rather biomachines. He further detailed that he was able to find out that during the autopsy, government officials confirmed they were robotic entities, saying they lacked the functions of humans such as a digestive system, and that they were linked to the ship and were able to control it, noting that it was done via electricity or bioelectricity. He ended by saying that these humanoid robots were created in order to travel vast distances across space. Some have said this is what humans will likely do in the next couple of 100 years, so who's to say that another civilization couldn't have done this? Although this story is interesting, not everyone is convinced, with some saying that these are just words, and that he did this in order to sell a book. NASA and other space agencies have also revealed that they've never found extraterrestrials, and that none of these stories can be backed up. So what do you make of these claims? Do you think they're real, or are they just the words of a man that was trying to sell a book? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below, and help us to grow this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.